Welcome to the 13th?
13th. It's our Will Helt episode, man.
The Will Helt episode, lucky number 13. Dustin, I just got back from looking at Christmas lights. And I open the door to my house. I get my kids in bed, and I start scrolling through Twitter. You know what I see? I see some big-time news. You know what the news was?
What's that?
Clemson's going to be playing in the Pinstripe Bowl December 27th at noon, and Clemson is now favored.
Clemson's now favored. I mean, I think it opened up at Penn State favored as 1.5 or something like that.
1.5, and now it's Clemson minus 3.5.
Yeah, it crossed zero. It crossed zero pretty quick.
Who could, who's better than us right now? Who's better than us? We're on top of the world. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Valley. I'm William Cockerill. This is Dustin Black again. Dustin, I'm super excited for this Pinstripe Bowl. I don't know about you. I'm not like Notre Dame. Anytime I get an opportunity to watch football and compete, I want to take it. I don't get that whole situation. I don't want to delve into it because this is not a Notre Dame podcast, but shame on them. Rudy would never. Rudy would never. But this is a very interesting matchup we got, Dustin, with Penn State. We're coming out of recruiting season. Clemson has all the momentum compared to Penn State. Penn State signed 2 people, but they hit a splash higher with Matt Campbell. In my opinion, a splash higher. I think that was, he might have been their 69th choice, but he should have been higher on the list because Matt Campbell is a phenomenal football coach. Comes over from Iowa State. Yeah, they were winning 6 games, but he won 10 games at Iowa State for the first time ever, had them consistently in bowl games. They were giant slavers. They were always beating Oklahoma or Texas when you went to Ames. He had them over competing with lesser resources. He goes to Penn State, which perceivably has more resources, and I think he's going to do a better job. I don't know if he coaches in this game or if he just sits back and watches Terry Smith do the Terry Smith show. But I really do think that was a really good hire. What's your opinion on Matt Campbell?
Yeah, I think he has a great eye for talent. I think he produced a lot of NFL picks, while he was at Iowa State, and just not like a long lineage, like you said, of Iowa State football players in the NFL. Not really at a hotbed for talent. Not a lot of resources there. So I think he's going to kill it at Penn State. I think they got like a really good football coach.
Yeah, and you think recently Brock Purdy, Iowa State,
Breece Hall,
the two were the Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, both extremely good wide receivers. The defensive end, Will Campbell, I think his name, not Will Campbell. Defensive end that went to the Jets.
Oh, well, I love the
Will McDonald. Will McDonald.
Yeah, Will McDonald. I love the guy that they have coming out this year. Big Citrus.
Dominic Orange. Dominic Orange is a beast.
He's legitimately good. He's a first-round defensive tackle, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you want to talk about draft? This is going to be one of the most defensive tackle-rich drafts in a long time. Peter Wood, Zane Durant, Big Orange. You got the cat Dominic Corleone coming over from Cincinnati, who's extremely good. Texas Tech's defensive tackle. Damon Hunter, I think his name is. I'm forgetting his first, or maybe Lee Hunter. Forgetting his name. But just a phenomenal defensive tackle. DeMonte K. Park for both of our defensive tackles could do some big things in the NFL. But in this game, we talked about this off air. Me and Landon Tingwall, shout out Landon Tingwall on the Landon Tingwall show over at Penn State, did a show in the offseason. I mean, we were arrogant as arrogant could be. We knew that we were going to meet each other up in the college football playoff. We were booking our flights. We were going to go do a show together when they played each other. And Jake, my co-host on Walk On Red Shirts, goes, "What if y'all both fall flat on your face and end up in the Pop-Tarts Bowl?" Jake, you were more right than we were, but we didn't make it to the People's Championship. We made it to the second People's Championship, and that's the Pinstripe Bowl, which seems pretty cool from a fan's perspective. Might be a little rough on some of our Florida boys and our Texas boys. We're a very Florida and Texas rich roster going to play on December 27th in the Bronx. Cold football's tough. It's rough. So
it's a cool trip. Whatever you do, try and split hotel rooms or do something, because hotel rooms in New York City this time of year, around that time of year, it's atrocious. Around Christmas and New Year's, that's got to be one of the most expensive times to try and find hotels and travel to New York City. Cool trip. Much better than going out to El Paso for the Sun Bowl or something like that, or going to Charlotte for the umpteenth thousand time or whatever. So it's a cool trip. I think a lot of players are going to want to make that trip too. I don't think there are going to be a ton of opt-outs, especially on the Clemson side. I think it's one of those experiences that they're going to want to have.
Yeah, we're going into Rowan Byrne country. Shout out Rowan Byrne. And I couldn't even afford to look up a hotel there. Fun fact: going into my senior year at Clemson, Troy Vincent came and spoke, the vice president of the NFL, and said, "Hey, if any of y'all are interested, y'all hit me up. You can come out here and come see what it's like at the NFL headquarters." Dustin, I was the only one who reached out to him. He invited me out. I fly out there, and I shadowed him for a day. It was pretty cool. I was actually at the NFL headquarters the day that Roger Goodell put down the Deflategate sanctions on Tom Brady. So I never got to see Roger Goodell because, believe it or not, he never left his office that day. But I got to see some cool interactions with Troy Vincent, and he was talking to Ian Rappaport. Just pretty cool stuff. Anyway, at the end of it, there's an opportunity to do an internship. In order to work there, if you're not, one of the big wigs, you go through an internship process, which is a 9-month process. You live in New York City. And they said, "Would you be interested?" I said, "Absolutely." They said, "Okay, just know it's about $9 an hour. We don't go anything above that." And I said, "I'll stop you right there. I will not be doing this." And they said, "Why? What's the problem?" I said, "I'm not living in a shoebox in New York City for $9 a freaking hour. No, thank you." I worked at the Bountyland Quick Stop while I was playing football. The freaking gas station, home of the world's best customer in Seneca, South Carolina on 123, right across the street from the Paul's Diner. I made more money than that at the Paul's Diner. I was not about to live in New York City on that salary. So no, thank you. That was a nice little fun fact. Dustin, what are some key stats you got in this game?
Well, like we talked about off air, I think it's a very, very similar football team. Like I think that there's a lot of the strengths and a lot of the weaknesses are pretty similar. Obviously, with their quarterback situation, with Drew Aller going down, starting a freshman now, Ethan Grunkmeyer, a kid that Clemson looked at coming out of high school as well. So I think that's a huge advantage for Clemson, is that Cade has already declared that he's going to play and wants to play in the bowl game. So I think, you got to say advantage Clemson there. And in a game where I think it's going to be a battle of both teams' depth, obviously Clemson's already had a couple of kids enter the portal, a couple of kids already declare for the NFL draft. So I don't think either team's going to be at what you would consider full strength. So let's line up, some 1s and 2s together and see who can win. But I think the advantage there, especially in a game like this, goes to Clemson with the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and you talk about depth. Before we started the show, you talked about how thin we are at corner. If Avion Terrell doesn't play, we're going to be very, very thin at corner. I wouldn't doubt to see some of our safeties, maybe Renan Hannafin, come down and have to play some corner. I mean, I don't know what the heck you're going to do.
The sad part is the safety that you would play at corner is actually Khalil Barnes, and he's the one who entered the portal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because I was about to say Shelton Lewis, Corey Gibson, Strozer, Jaden Lucas. That's 4 guys. Do we have anybody outside of those 4 guys that are going to play corner? Walk-ons, now's your time. Time to shine, baby. We're going to see some walk-ons play some cornerback this weekend or that weekend. Dustin, I'm going to go through some quick stats on these two teams. We talk about how similar they are, just in case no one believes us. This is Clemson's offense compared to Penn State's defense. So our total offense, we're 47th, averaging about 405 yards per game. Penn State is 34th in the country in total defense, and they're averaging 334, which is about a 71-yard difference. So pretty good on their part. Our rushing attack has been very weak. Now, I think the NCAA statistic is a little skewed because we ran the ball, 5 times against LSU?
Yeah.
We ran the ball 3 times against Troy. So take this with a grain of salt. But our rushing attack is 99th in the country, averaging 131 yards per game, 4 yards per carry. Penn State, their rush defense is 72nd in the country, so can be attacked. And when you talk about a guy like Zane Durant not being in there, that bodes pretty well for us. They're giving up 19.6 yards less per game, but they're also allowing more yards per carry. So for what it's worth, a tenth of a yard. Hey, but it's a game of inches, right? A tenth of a yard is a couple inches. Passing attack, their passing defense is phenomenal. The defenses we've struggled the most against this year have been the teams that have really good pass defense. You talk about South Carolina. You talk about Florida State. You talk about who was the other pass defense that was pretty good? Sure as hell wasn't Syracuse. Georgia, no, wasn't Georgia Tech. LSU. There we go. LSU. I was working down my Rolodex.
All right.
We struggle with those guys a little bit. But speaking of opt-outs, Zakee Wheatley, the stud safety for Penn State, will not be playing in the Pinstripe Bowl. So that could bode well for us as well. They're averaging only giving up 183 yards passing per game. Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Out in the Big Ten, some of the stereotypes are true. Sometimes stereotypes are wrong, and they're prejudiced. Sometimes there's a stereotype for a reason. A lot of those Midwestern teams do not air the ball out. They just don't. Not everybody has Ohio State's roster. So when Penn State's playing, whoever, Nebraska. Well, I guess Nebraska.
Are you disrespecting the dairy raid right now at Wisconsin?
I might be disrespecting the dairy raid. You know what? My bad, Luke Fickle. You got extended. I should be singing your praises right now. Let's see. Red zone offense, red zone defense. Their red zone defense is 73rd in the country.
You
our
can
red
skip.
zone offense is 96.
You can skip that, man. You don't have to talk about our red zone offense.
It's the battle between Swiss cheese and a wet blanket. Who's going to stop something first, right?
Yeah.
Scoring, we're 60th, they're 37th. Sacks allowed. This is going to be where you're going to see the battle. Sacks allowed, we're 31st. Sacks, they're 39th. So it's going to be a battle in the trenches. Tackles for loss allowed, 47th. They're 37th in tackles for loss. Turnovers were weak, 15 turnovers. But they're also pretty poor at forcing turnovers. They're 92nd in the country. So pretty even when you talk about the matchup between offense and defense for Penn State versus Clemson. You jump onto the other side, you see almost the same exact thing from Penn State. They're 87th in total offense, so drastically worse than us. Passing offense is 110th, again, drastically worse than us, but they make up for it on the other side. We're bad at rush offense. They're bad at pass offense. The rushing attack is 46th in the country. I want to highlight this. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton are seniors. James Franklin's gone. They are 100% going into the NFL draft. They are phenomenal football players. If they do not play, I don't think that rushing attack is going to be the 46th best rushing attack in the country. I don't think it'll be even close.
So let me ask you, do you think Adam Randall plays?
Adam Randall will play. Okay. I think he plays. He's like a Cade. He's the one I think Wade Woodaz plays. I wouldn't be shocked if TJ Parker plays. Now, Peter, because I think TJ Parker has something to prove if he wants to get back in that first round conversation. I think Peter Woods has kind of got himself nestled just well enough in the top 15, top 20.
Same with Avion Terrell. I think Avion Terrell is closer to the first round than he is the second.
Avion Terrell, I think it would hurt him more to play. Now,
yeah, well, he came up limping against South Carolina, so I think he's dealing with some sort of injury. I don't know what the injury is, but I think that he is dealing with something in his leg.
If you're a Clemson fan, you get mad that Avion Terrell doesn't play in this game, I want to slap you.
Yeah. That's interesting. So that's interesting, though, because I feel like the trend typically is if they opt for the draft before the bowl game, they typically don't play. But I do remember some exceptions. So I went to the Orange Bowl. What was that? Into 2022, that Streeter year. And I remember KJ Henry, that was the year he went to the draft, but he played. And I vaguely remember that because
against Tennessee, right?
Yeah, against Tennessee, because there was one play where he was chasing down, I think, the quarterback and came up fell over like non-contact, and I was like holding my head like, no, man, not KJ, like
not
he's
like
about to go
this,
to the draft. Yeah. So there are exceptions to the rule, but I like your point though. I think maybe TJ does play and tries to put on good tape against Penn State to try and creep back in the first round. But totally agree, Peter Woods and Avion Terrell have no business playing in this game.
No, and we shouldn't want him to play. DeMonte Capehart, maybe with his injury history, I doubt he plays too. So you talk about corner being thin. I think defensive tackle will be thin. You think about the guys we have. We have Vic Burley, Amari Adams. Any of these guys hurt? Vic Burley did get hurt, right?
It's at some point through the year, but I think he's healthy now. Stephon
Green, which this could be a draft boosting opportunity for him. Does he come back? Does he not? Because I'm pretty sure he's a junior. He could get into the top 3 round conversation if he comes back. So that would be someone who could benefit from coming and playing in this game. I'm trying to think of other defensive tackles. I don't think we have much out of that.
Well,
out of those
actually,
four.
Amari Adams is out for the year he had tightrope surgery, I think.
Was that? Oh, I thought that was just Jaheim Lawson. He had it too.
Yeah, it was Amari Adams. Yeah, so he won't be playing in the bowl.
No, that's too bad. So yeah, Jaheim Lawson won't be playing either because he also had tightrope surgery. So it's going to be interesting. So the new age of bowl season, it's not necessarily the team you've seen all year. You're going to see a lot of young guys. You're going to see a lot of opt-outs. You're going to see the offenses look completely different. You're going to see people playing for different reasons. What I don't think you'll ever see at Clemson, at least into the Dabo Swinney era, is a guy do like what we've seen with like Cam Ward at Miami or Nick Emenwari at South Carolina, where they leave at halftime.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see that. Maybe if you have Cam Ward, I kind of understood his situation. I thought it was anyway. That's a whole nother argument, but I don't know, because most bowl games, Dabo's done a really good job of the guys playing. I believe the Gator Bowl, we had a lot of guys play except for Nate Wiggins. And Barrett Carter played in that game, I believe.
Yeah, Barrett Carter played.
Oh, no, he still had one more year left. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys who could have opted out and did not play in that game. So we've had opportunities where guys could have opted out and they haven't, and they've played in these games. So I would see more players that are on the fence playing.
Oh man, wasn't the Gator Bowl when Will Shipley had a long kickoff return and then hurt his knee? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was another one who didn't opt out.
So he didn't opt out either. I remember that. He had a really great kickoff return and then just overextended his knee or something.
Yeah. And he ended up being okay, but thank God thank God I wasn't worse. It looked awful. With the amount of explosion that came off the ground, it looked awful.
But we do this every year where people are like, "Oh, the bowls don't matter. Like, kids don't care about playing in bowls." And then you watch the bowl games and you're like, "These kids care." Like, do you not remember like even the South Carolina Illinois game? Like that got heated towards the end. Like,
that was awesome.
You know what I mean? Like stuff like that happens every year. So everyone sits here and like bashes bowl season, like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Like all these opt outs or whatever. And then you actually turn the TV on and watch the bowl games. You're like, "Oh yeah, these kids are competitive."
And what's cool is go ahead.
I just think that's what's going to happen with Clemson and Penn State. I think that they're both excited to play each other. I think if Clemson was going to play a G5, like the champion of the MAC or something, I think it would be a little different. But being able to line up across from Penn State, I think is a good opportunity for a lot of these young guys that haven't been able to play all year.
Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt if we see Antonio Williams play.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know with his injury history, maybe not, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I'm sure his agent is pleading with him not to, but I would not doubt seeing him playing with you think about these guys who've already left it all out in the field. Like you can just kind of see that these guys are going to play. And you're right. Like we're playing a big time program that's in a similar situation as us. And we have the opportunity to have 8 wins. I know Dabo's been putting that in their heads. And these guys, if you have any pride, you want to end on a high note, because what you haven't done in your 5 years at Clemson University is do anything that was done in the past 10 years before that. You haven't sniffed the playoff pedigree that the other guys have. You obviously haven't won a national championship. What are you leaving behind? Are you going to leave behind a 7-6 legacy for your senior year, or are you going to leave behind an 8-win season? And there's a big difference between that.
I was just about to say that. Like, it's such a big difference.
Yeah, 8-5 is so much bigger than 7-6. I mean, it truly is. And you talk about some other stuff going on in the college football world, like the transfer portal. People are going to watch this game. People are absolutely going to watch this game. You got 2 things that are happening. Penn State has a new coach. People want to see how Penn State responds. What do the young guys look like? What does Grunkmeyer look like? If he comes back and I'm a wide receiver and haven't signed somewhere yet, maybe I go to Penn State. I mean, because I liked Matt Campbell at Iowa State, or I liked the system they had at Penn State. Do I stay in that? And then you have Clemson. It's like, hey, they're actually going to get into the portal this year. Maybe I want to get into that. So this game has a lot more intrigue than the layman fan. Because Dustin, who's saying that bowls don't matter? It's the sorry sons of whatever who want to tell us where our game is flawed. This is this is the most beautiful game on the planet. College football in particular, most beautiful game on the planet. The simple fans who probably couldn't even tell you they're starting left tackle on the team they like are the ones telling you that bowl games don't matter.
And opting out of one is disgraceful. Marcus Freeman should be ashamed of himself.
Yes, he should. Yes, he should. Especially with the news that came out today too on him. Odds-on favorite to take the New York Giants job. I don't think that actually happens.
What?
Yeah, minus 200 to take the Giants job.
He's not taking the Giants job. There's no way, dude. Well, this year was weird for me because I actually do think this Notre Dame football team is really freaking good.
Oh yeah,
but like I think head coach of Notre Dame is easily one of the best jobs in the sport.
Oh, so I don't think he goes either. I'm just poking it a little bit. But if we want to talk about them opting out, you have the two extremes. You have the people saying, well, Notre Dame should stand up for their brand and not give ESPN a dime of their money. I want y'all to please be quiet and stop grandstanding. And players have been risking their safety all year. Guess what, buddy? You sign up to play football. You risk your neck every single game. And when you sign up to play football, that's what you want to do. As a competitor, you want to be out there and bust somebody in the freaking face. So don't miss all that crying with me saying that the players deserve to not have to go out there and put themselves at risk. Shut up. That's the sorriest thing I've ever heard. And then the other side, they took their ball and they cried and they went home, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they did. But I think they were somewhat justified in doing so. I think we lost somewhere in the middle. I think Notre Dame did a huge disservice to college football because, yeah, you're right. You are one of the biggest brands in college football, and everybody is watching what you're doing. And what you thought was going to change the college football format is going to change bowl season. You're going to actually make college football worse by what you're doing, not make the college football playoff better. And that part frustrates me a little bit, Dustin. I mean, I don't know where you stand on the whole bowl situation, but
don't ever alienate your fans, man. Don't ever neglect your fans. Don't ever alienate your fans. If there's an extra opportunity to play a game and your fans can travel and watch you play, you do it.
Absolutely. And you talk about how big your brand is. You know why your brand's so big? Because of your fans.
It's the lifeblood of your program is the fans. So don't ever neglect them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you talk about this too. Well, we have a bunch of guys that should go into the draft, and they shouldn't have to go out there and play in the Gasparilla Pop-Tart Bowl. Guess what you also have? You've got guys who've been fighting their ass off on the scout team as backups, putting in the blood, sweat, and tears just like everybody else wanting to get their chance. This would have been a golden opportunity for them to go out there and prove it. Now they don't get that. Because why? Because you didn't make the playoff?
Yeah, and Notre Dame, like if they showed up, they would smack BYU. Like they would have smacked them. But
they absolutely would have.
But BYU takes bowl games seriously. So if Notre Dame would have done a half-ass prep and not taken the game seriously, I think that would have been a really good game. But I think if Notre Dame showed up full strength again and lined up against BYU, I think they smoke them.
Right. And then, I know a lot of people will probably say, well, think about Jalen Smith. What happened to him? He played in the bowl game. He probably shouldn't. Yeah. That's the anomaly. Right. How often does that happen? How often do you see a guy lose blood flow to his leg by breaking his leg? And it does not happen. It doesn't happen, right? We had a guy for Indiana we talked about right before this get a season-ending injury, high-fiving fans.
Yep.
If you're going to get an injury, it's going to happen, right? So just miss me with all that passive crap. You don't play football to take days off. You play football to play the freaking game. And the amount of prep that you put in to play the game, buddy, that's all you want to do is play the freaking game on Saturday or whenever the bowl game is.
Yeah.
No, don't get me. I'm getting a little.
I'm about to buckle the chin strap over there, buddy.
I'm about to buckle the chin strap. I'm about to go get my forehead reamed into the dirt by Shaq Lawson again. Take me all the way back. All right, we talk about. I don't want to really. I mean, if you want to, we can do some keys of the game. It's hard to make keys of the game when you really don't know what the roster is going to look like. So I'm going to be a little vague with mine.
Yeah, I mean, but like Penn State just lost their defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles just signed with Tennessee, so they don't have a defensive play caller right now. We don't even know who's going to be calling plays for them. Obviously, I don't have any inside information, but Garrett Riley's obviously interviewing for jobs. So who knows if he lands one of these jobs? No one does. So he may not even be calling plays for Clemson in the bowl game. Who knows? John Grass got the job at Samford. He's going to be taking support staffers with him. It sounds like they're going to finish out the year and be a part of bowl prep, but there's just so much, man. Like who knows? I think this game is just going to be who takes it more seriously and who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah, and if you've watched Cade, he tends to show up in these postseason games. Tennessee being the outlier in the Orange Bowl, that was his first real game starting. I know he played significant snaps against North Carolina in the ACC championship that year. But you talk about Kentucky. He struggled a little bit, but then when we needed him the most, he showed up. You talk about Texas, his best tape he's ever put
Mhm.
out there is from that Texas game.
Yeah.
And then you talk about this year, or you talk about the ACC championship game when we needed him the most. Gets us 30 yards so we can kick a field goal. So I mean, Cade's believe it or not seems to show up in these big time situations at the end of the year. I
And
don't know
the and
why it
the
is.
and we haven't talked draft with him, but I mean, he's obviously entering the draft, so he's going to want to raise his stock as much as possible. I mean, he's nowhere near
Yeah,
first. I mean, he's nowhere near the top of the draft anymore, but that doesn't mean he's not fighting to get drafted.
yeah. And let's talk about this. Who is leaving? So if you want to talk about what our roster is going to look like, so offensive starters, we're losing about 7 guys: Antonio Williams, Cade Klubnik, Tristan Lee, Walker Parks, Adam Randall, Blake Miller, Ryan Linthicum. I think Ryan Linthicum plays. I think Blake Miller plays. I think Adam Randall plays. Walker Parks got a season-ending injury. Obviously, he will not play, which is just brutal. Tristan Lee will play. I'm not saying this as I know. I think he will play. Excuse me. Cade Klubnik has already said he will play. And then I also think Antonio Williams will play. I think all 7 of our offensive starters will play. I think all of them have something to gain. I think Antonio Williams is another fringe first-round guy, second-round guy. He could cement that in a game where a lot of people are going to be watching. There's going to be a lot of scouts watching this game. Defensively, TJ Parker, Peter Woods, DeMonte Capehart, Avion Terrell, Khalil Barnes is a transfer. Obviously, he will not play. Wade Woodaz, K. Denhoff. I think Denhoff plays. I think Woodaz plays. I think Parker might play. So
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's going to be the litmus test on how serious Clemson's taking this bowl game. Personally,
yeah,
I think if Parker's not playing, I'm going to be kind of worried that we're not it's on the defensive side that we're not all in on this bowl game. But I think if he plays, I think we could throttle Penn State. Honestly,
yeah,
just
we
like
have
you
a good
said.
shot.
Yeah.
We have a good shot. Role players: Tristan Smith would be departing. We don't know his future is in limbo right now. You could have a Tristan Smith legacy game, right? He had his opportunities throughout the year. In some games where he got limited opportunities, he's shown bright, and then some games where he had a lot of opportunities, he kind of flared out a little bit. He has an opportunity to really cement himself and maybe get himself a UDFA opportunity, right? Say he doesn't get to come back, he's going to really have to show out in this game if he wants to get a shot at the next level. Shelton Lewis was a transfer. I mean, he hasn't been a part of the roster since October. Tyler Venables, he will probably coach. No, he'll play. I bet we have to play him. I mean, I wouldn't know if we have.
We don't have a choice.
We might see Tyler Venables playing corner this week.
He might
see him
start.
play defensive tackle. Yeah,
who knows, man?
And then Jaden Lucas, and I think obviously Jaden Lucas will play. He might be a starter in this game. Just Keith Adams didn't play very much, but he's a transfer. Doubt he plays. And D. Creighton for non-contributors. D. Creighton, not Creighton. Linebacker is also transferring. 2 completely different situations. I think Keith Adams has a lot of talent, an extreme amount of talent. I think he would be. I mean, this is not a knock on him. I think he would be a hell of a G5 running back. A hell of a. I mean, if he goes with John Grass to Samford, if he goes with, I mean, if speculation is Garrett Riley might get the job at Coastal. If he goes to Coastal Carolina, he'd be a hell of a running back, right? He's just stuck in a situation in which the running game hasn't been used very well at Clemson, and B, his style doesn't fit really the offense that we run.
I think there's a lot of people that would agree with you that if he goes somewhere where he gets more opportunity, I think he could, surprise some people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because you look at him when he runs, the way he runs the football is different. And if you and with him being as big as he is, as strong as he is, if he takes that style to a different school, a smaller school, I think he'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
So you talk about those guys being in there. I want to do this too, and this might be super silly, but I think we should do it anyway. So we're talking about the Penn State game, Pinstripe Bowl, the Badboy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Dustin, do you have a score prediction? Would you pull one out of your tail? C-suite, Dustin?
Let's see. I would say somewhere. Oh man. I think something similar to the South Carolina game.
28-14?
Yeah, maybe like a 31-17.
I like that. I would be 31-17. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's depend. Like I'm torn on the passing attack of Penn State because obviously we're going to be so thin at corner that I know that Grunkmeyer if he's on his game he may throw for 300.
Yeah, and you know what? Statistically, I don't know a lot about Ethan Grunkmeyer.
But that's the top. This is the Tom Allen experience we're talking about. You're going to sit there and you're going to throw things at your TV because you feel like we're just giving up yards after yards, but they don't get points.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm looking at Ethan Grunkmeyer's stats from this year. 69% completion percentage, pretty nice.
Nice.
He's thrown the ball 144 times this year, 1,000 yards, 7.5 yards per completion, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Yuck.
Wow, that's so every 25 passes he's going to throw a pick. He's been sacked 11 times. Holy smokes! So,
dude, I don't mean to be like. There's no reason for us to be arrogant as Clemson fans.
We can't laugh at anybody.
We can't laugh at anybody, but like when you say that out loud, it's like okay. I think it's either going to be like an ugly, like just a nasty game, where it's just very low scoring and it's just sloppy. But I think if Clemson, like for me personally, I know we've talked about this, but like I think the South Carolina game, that was Riley's best game as a play caller. Like the offense is like humming, and like it's the same thing as last year. Like it was like the offense was really good at the beginning of the year, and then it kind of like hit a wall, and then like towards SMU Texas, it was just like it was awesome. And so I think that's what's happening again is that like now it's towards the end of the year. I think they'll with some time off they may start slow, but I think that the offense is in a really good spot.
I agree 100%. And you think about what Penn State does, and Penn State was able to score 40 against Rutgers.
Yeah,
for what it's worth. 31-17 might not be crazy, and it's to your point. I like to see how their kicker is. How good is Penn State's kicker? So if I think a lot of it depends on if Nick Singleton and not Kingback and Katron Allen play. Even if one of them play, I think they have a really good chance against us to put up points, especially in the red zone. But they've had them all year and been terrible in the red zone. One thing that I was very pleased with, and this is going to hurt your heart a little bit, Dustin, because one of the reasons we got our butt smoked by Texas was because we couldn't stop the run. This year we finished 14th in the country in rush defense. That's what I'm used to.
Do you know how crazy that is? Like to go from like the 80s to 14th? Like that is an astronomical jump.
That's what we got from Tom Allen. But I think what we saw was, like you said, when we played Lenora Sellers, when we played Tommy Castellanos, Tom Allen said, throw the ball. Please, throw the ball. And when you get into the red zone and we have to clamp you down, you're not going to be able to score consistently. And if you do, it's going to be a field goal. And you're going to want to go for it, and you're not going to get them. And that's what we saw with Lenora Sellers. Probably his best passing game statistically, if you look at pure yardage, that he's probably ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But he ran for 2 yards.
Yeah.
And that's what he does best. And their team ran for 30 yards against us, maybe even less than that. So you put I think they had 100 yards total rushing, right?
No,
it was something awful.
No, it wasn't good. Like we held them in check.
And once Tom Allen really put his hands deep into this Clemson defensive staff in the play calling and management, the defense has looked phenomenally better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it has.
So I think because of how good our defense is, yes, the depth is going to be weak, but it's one last game. They're going to leave it all out there. I think 31-17 is likely, could happen. I'm going to say 24-13. 24-13. So you got 31-17, I got 24-13.
41 rushing yards for South Carolina against Clemson.
41, okay. And that was all from Faison.
Yeah, I mean, dude, South Carolina had 6.9 yards per play. They had a good day offensively because 2 plays went for what was it, like 50 something? Yeah, 50 something and 70 something. So
yeah, 74 and 53. I don't know why those numbers just bleed in my head, but they do. So 127 yards on 2 plays. You take those away, that offense was pretty stagnant. The defense did a hell of a job that game. Offense was very smooth, like you said. Couldn't finish in the red zone, which has been our bugaboo in the Garrett Riley era. So hey, maybe if Garrett Riley's not calling plays, maybe we're good in the red zone. Maybe Tom Grass, or John Grass, excuse
Tom
me.
Grass.
Sorry, Tom. So some guys listen to this right now. Hey, that's me. Hold on. No, so John Grass. Hey, cook in the red zone, baby. Do not hand the ball to Peter Woods. Okay. Throw the ball. I want you to throw the ball to a walk-on offensive lineman. That's what I want to see. Dustin, any final words before we get out of here? Oh. Before we get out of here, let's talk about the transfer portal a little bit.
We get to have fun with the transfer portal now, man.
Well, allegedly.
Yeah.
We get to have fun in it, and I think that's because we should be pursuing a quarterback. I think all rumors, all the tea leaves, everything out there says that we're going to be pursuing a quarterback in the transfer portal.
We will be pursuing a quarterback in the transfer portal.
All right. Y'all heard it here first. Dustin, who you got? Who would you highlight? Who would be your guy in the transfer portal right now?
Let's go straight to quarterback. So let's talk about Jaden Craig from Harvard. Kid was just a baller at Harvard, and I know you think like, okay, what competition he's playing in the Ivy League, but I just like if you have a chance, go watch his highlights, go watch the kid throw the ball. A kid can absolutely sling it, and one of the things is with a Harvard degree now, he kind of wants a chance to go play somewhere where he can showcase his talent, and potentially try and go play in the NFL. And he's got like arm talent, like off the charts. Obviously, he's a very smart, has a good IQ for the game, coming from Harvard. So it's going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a battle for him. A lot of ACC schools, I think some Big Ten schools are definitely going to get involved, especially with his academic background. So it'll be an interesting one. I definitely think that Clemson will kick the tires on that kid.
And his size. He's 6'3", 225. He's got NFL size. And I'm pretty sure he was the Walter Payton finalist, which is like the Ivy League, the FCS level, whatever level they're on, Heisman Trophy. So he's pretty darn good. I like him a lot too. He would be my number one pick in this class of portal guys that I think we're going to pursue. If you want to talk about a guy that maybe not a lot of people know about that would fit more into the mold of a running quarterback, Arrington Maiden, over from Memphis, 6'2", 200 pounds, is a very, very good runner, but has a cannon for an arm, struggles with accuracy a little bit. But a guy that I think everybody's on to right now, Colton Joseph from Old Dominion, would be so much fun to have. And you think about if Garrett Riley leaves, if you get Colton Joseph, the trend now is to, hey, go get the quarterback from G5 and bring the OC with him. I wouldn't hate that happening. I don't think you see that with a Harvard offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
The Old Dominion has had success offensively against some big time schools. You talk about Virginia Tech, you talk about South Carolina. They haven't been beat up by these Power 5, Power 4 schools. So Colton Joseph's another one, 6'2", 190, redshirt sophomore. So he's got some years. Dabo wants him to at least have 2 years, and so does Jaden Craig. Jaden Craig's a redshirt junior, so he would at least have 2 years. So I like those two picks.
I like Colton Joseph. That's a good pull. I think that like if you're looking at like kind of having similar styles of quarterback in your quarterback room, I think him and Tate Reynolds are very similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how they like to play the game. Colton Joseph obviously isn't like, he's not known for his passing really. Like he's a good thrower of the football. Don't get me wrong, but he's just electric with his legs.
Yeah, and then in a team that has struggled to develop a running back, wouldn't hurt to have a quarterback with legs.
Sure.
And then I want to talk about one more dark horse, Dylan Lonergan. But I think a lot of people are going to be throwing some money at him, the BC quarterback. Believe it or not, Boston College, while he was healthy, was a top 11.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were 11th in the country in passing offense.
Yeah,
the dude can sling it. He's been coached by Bill O'Brien, which I don't know if you've heard of him, is a pretty freaking good offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, which he's the head coach, but that was his role on that team. So if you want to make a splash, I think that would be the splash guy.
Yeah, I like him. I like him too. I think that that's a very interesting one. I think a lot of schools will be in on him.
Yeah. What about corner? I know we got to look at corner.
Yeah, there's one from Iowa State coming from Matt Campbell. I'm guessing he's headed to Penn State if I had to guess. But his name's Quentin Taylor. I really like him. Yep, redshirt freshman, so has a ton of eligibility left. Long arms, long, fast, loves football, man.
That's right. For. That's what we love. If you're going to go play football in Ames, Iowa, you love football. You don't have to question that dude's love for football. Another one. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna talk about Tony Williams, the safety as well. So he's a kid who spent 1 year at UCF. He was a 4-star recruit from Florida. was in the 7v7 circuit big with a lot of recruits like that. I think he has all the tools to be really good at safety, and obviously that's going to be a position that Clemson's going to be looking for heavy in the portal. And he's got a ton of eligibility left. So I know we didn't offer him out of high school, but I like him. I think I'm going to be very interested to see where that kid ends up.
Yeah, and I was on. I was blessed to be able to go on the Roar with Walt Deptula, and he talked about the transfer portal needing to have connections in order to have a leg up on people. So a lot of these guys that we've put on this big board that we're not showing you, but I'm looking at is guys that were previously Clemson offers. I think those guys have a leg up, or if Dabo has a connection. You talk about Dylan Lonergan. He's got a connection with Bill O'Brien. I mean, now I don't know how big it is, but ACC guy, you've seen him, you've talked with him, you've probably talked with Dylan. Colton Joseph, you probably don't have a relationship there, but who knows? Who knows how deep these coaches' network go?
You didn't have a connection with Will Helt or
true. Will Helt had Clemson ties.
Or Tristan Smith. How did Will Helt have?
Will Helt, I think it was his uncle, played at Clemson, attended Clemson, so he had somebody in his family that had attended Clemson.
I thought maybe he knew something of Brad Brunell or something. Maybe.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Okay.
So I might have been stretched a little.
But to your point, Jeremiah Alexander, he was a guy they had a previous relationship with out of high school as a transfer last year too. So.
And then Tristan Smith was just a big fan, came to practice, and they're like, "Oh, look at this guy! He's a project. This is Dabo going to the transfer portal without actually having to go to the transfer portal. He's essentially a high school kid." A couple corners that could be long shots. Dante Lovett from Virginia Tech. I've liked watching him play. I don't quite love it, but I do like it. But 6 foot, 200 pounds. He was recruited by Penn State when Tom Allen was there. Nope, that's not true. He was recruited by Indiana when Tom Allen was there. How long was it? Tom Allen was at Penn State for 1 year, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm got that right. He's a junior. He's predicted to go to Memphis right now. If Clemson's going to beat anybody, it'll be Memphis. So I wouldn't hate seeing a guy like Dante Lovett come over. But you want a good man-to-man guy, maybe to Dakota Fields out of Oregon, who I think is going to be very expensive. Ashton Stamps, which I know that's your guy. I think he's going to be extremely expensive coming from LSU. But, hey, he's been to the Valley. He's been inside the Valley. So maybe that's our connection. Running back. I haven't been deep into this running back group. I don't know if we actually go into the running back pool. Maybe Dabo thinks we're deep enough there with David Ezamame and Gideon Davidson. If I were Dabo, I would jump into the running back pool, especially with not getting a running back in this class. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. I just don't think there's much experience in that room. You have an injured Jay Haynes, you have Gideon, who's just coming off his freshman campaign, and then you have Ezzy, who hasn't got many carries. So I think
don't sleep on Jarvis Green.
Or Jarvis Green coming off injury as well. So I just think that you have to get someone with some experience. I know that unfortunately running back is an area where freshmen can come in and make an impact, but we do not have a freshman running back in the 2026 class. So
we do not.
It'd be a good time to go get one.
Yeah, CJ Baxter is a guy coming out of Texas. We did offer him. I highly doubt that we're going to pony up the amount of money that he's going to require for you to go. But other than that, I think there was a running back for Connecticut. I think he's a redshirt junior. I'm forgetting his name. He could be a guy, runs hard, played for Jim Mora, so he's very well coached. Has a really good football team this year. And then I think the last thing you want to look at is offensive line. I think you've got to get somebody on the offensive line. I don't care if it's a tackle. I don't care if it's an interior guy. I think where Chancellor Barclay and Grant Wise support the most is wherever we don't get somebody from the transfer portal. We're replacing Tristan Lee. Braden Jacobs is one guy. Elijah Thurman plays best in the inside. I'd prefer to get a tackle. I love the two tackles from UConn. And Ben Morawski and Karsten Cassidy. Carson Cassidy, I think I think we might actually be interested in him. 6'7", 300-pound tackle out of UConn. I think he's from Georgia, if I remember correctly. He's not from the Connecticut area. I do know that. But Ben Morawski.
And Mercer's center. The center for
Mercer
Mercer.
center.
He was a freshman. Had a really good freshman campaign at Mercer. I think that's someone we should definitely be interested in as well.
Yeah, he was first team All FCS. So absolutely, that would be a Dabo guy. That would be a Dabo guy. Any other positions you want to highlight? Defensive end, defensive line.
Yeah, I think you should be portaling everywhere, man. With the increase of scholarships to 105 or whatever, and having to fill out the roster, and there's going to be more portal people leaving. Like you just know that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, like I don't think like even if you make it to the bowl game, I still feel the portal window doesn't open up till January 2nd. So there's going to be more portal departures. You don't know where or when, but there's going to be more.
And we currently have 81 guys on scholarship. That's including the 20, I believe. Let me make sure. Let me do my math. Quick math. Plus on computer. Don't fail me now.
But I do think in general, I will say that there's a lot of money coming off the books. If you just go through the list of like Cade Klubnik, Antonio Williams, Peter Woods, TJ Parker, all those guys, Avion Terrell, all those guys were getting paid pretty well by Clemson this past season. So all that money is coming off the books and has to go somewhere. Now, do I expect Clemson to go sign like, a top 10 portal class? Like, hell no. Like they're not going to be anywhere close to that. But do I expect them to go get someone like a Will Helt at some positions? I think you could see a couple of Will Helts. I think maybe you could see like 2 or 3 Will Helts this year, and as far as portal acquisitions go. I think I would expect a lot of people like a Dominique Thomas at running back, kind of someone who's at JUCO for 2 years, kind of that level. More Tristan Smith level wide receivers, and I just think that it's going to be one of those things that Clemson's going to lean on their evaluation of the player more than they are the overpay in the market for some players.
Yeah, and you talk about the 105 scholarship cap. We will be after this game. We'll be around the 80 mark. If Tristan Smith comes back, we'll be at 81. So currently sitting at 81, have 20 guys coming in would put us at 101, and then we have 21 guys, 21 guys leaving. So we're at the 80 mark. So there's 25 spots.
Safety is just like the absolute no-brainer. You had 2 safeties decommit before signing day. You have Barnes entering the portal. I mean, like, you got to go get some safeties.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I expect like at least one, like very high-level safety to be on the books, but I expect a lot of speed in the secondary next year.
Yeah, and so we're going to wrap it up here. Dustin, this was a phenomenal show. I had fun with you again. This has been fun. First year.
Yeah,
how are we feeling?
I feel good, man. We're gonna have to start getting into off-season mode here pretty soon, which saddens me. But there's gonna be I think there's gonna be some change coming to Clemson, more so with the portal and coaching changes, possibilities, and things of that nature. So I think it's gonna be a very busy off-season for Clemson.
We'll have a lot to talk about for sure. And please stay tuned because Dustin and I are going to be diving into some of the 20 incoming freshmen that are coming in. We're going to watch their highlight tape, their high school tape. We're going to go over with you what we see from them. Can they contribute? So stay tuned for those episodes. They're going to be fun. We're going to try to trickle those in throughout the off season. We've got some content ideas that could be good. Maybe some interviews. I don't know. We've got some guys. We've got some fun ideas coming up and cooking in the crock pot up here in my brain skull and Dustin's brain skull, which I would trust C-suite Dustin's brain a lot more than mine. But thank you for tuning in for the 13th episode of Inside the Valley. Follow us on Twitter. X. Sorry. Follow us at the Walk on Red Shirts, Inside the Valley. Dustin, what's your Twitter handle again?
DB420. Dustin B 429.
429, so not quite 420. I'm Walk on Moose. Please follow us. Give us a like, subscribe. Go follow the Walk on Red Shirts, and have a wonderful Christmas holiday. We'll see you.